Well, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Today, on the table in front of us, we've got something new from Kershaw. Now, there was a time when I think likely many of you, collected a lot of Kershaw. It was the stuff I could pick up at like Big Five or a sporting goods store when I was on my way somewhere, or if I lost a knife, I'd pick another one up at Big Five. The last few years, Kershaw has not produced anything that I'm really interested in except their automatics. And so what's on the table in front of us today is their newest addition to their Launch series. This is the Launch 13, and I love this knife. I really do. It is made along sort of similar lines of their more recent knives, the 11 and 12, the 10. They made small sort of California legal knives. This is not. This is a full-size knife, but it is lean. It is very sharp, and it's really, really attractive. I have very much enjoyed this thing since I got it. It's just a good-looking knife. This kind of worny, nice, lean, thin blade. It is very comfortable in hand, and like all Kershaw launches, it is surprisingly snappy without being loud and really obtrusive. It is CPM 154 blade steel. It is all aluminum handle. It does not have a backspacer. It is just brought together in this really interesting pattern and shape. It has a very excellent deep carry pocket clip, although the screws are not flush, which means there's a little interference coming in and out of the pocket. But I mean, look at the profile on this thing closed. It's just gorgeous. There is a little DLC on the blade and along the top of the blade, which is an interesting choice. Overall, this has just been an absolute joy to handle and use. And it doesn't, particularly when it's in the pocket, right? That's all you've got left sticking out. It doesn't scream automatic knife. It just looks like a pocket knife clip, which is helpful in California. Now, in other states, that's not going to be a big deal, but here, it is very nice. Now, Kershaw, as I said, makes a bunch of really nice automatics. On the table here with the 13 is the 7? Yeah, 7. There are so many at this point, it is kind of hard to keep track of. But this is the same excellent CPM 154 blade steel. It has really nice, snappy action and a good long blade. Then there's the Launch 1. This one happens to belong to Women Carry Knives. These are both nice, full-size knives. They make, well, there are 13 in the series. These are excellent carries, but this is very nice, but it's really long and lean in the pocket. So if you've got short pockets, for instance, Women Carry Knives has one of these in blue, and all of her pockets are too short, right? This is an excellent carry, very comfortable, very usable. Just a superb pocket knife. It was very big, right? It's nice, but it's very big. The California legal launches that they've been making are too small. I mean, they're great. They're fun, but they're too small, really, in the end. They're too small for me to carry and have any value. But this thing manages to be very lean in the pocket. It's not too long this way. They used up almost just really all the handle when they were closing out the blade in there. And so you get a lot of knife without a lot of handle. And it's really comfortable to carry and fun to use. Now, it's not as snappy as a ProTech Auto, but it is snappier than, say, the Benchmade Casbah. This is a very expensive little automatic. $170, $180, $200, whatever it is. It is in 154 CM steel, which is not as good as CPM 154. Although, don't get me wrong, ProTech, who made this little Strider Auto, make fantastic knives, but this is $115. This is like $160. These are $99. And you get a lot of knife for the money, more than any other brand as far as I'm concerned. You get some arguments, you know, they're not as snappy, they're not really tactical, but whatever. They are well-made, well-thought-out autos in a reasonable price range in good steel. That's really hard to argue against. I mean, that's very snappy. That's very snappy. And then there's this, which is unique and interesting. I really applaud what they've done here. So let's go ahead and get some specs out of the way. We'll line it up right on the line for the blade. You get 1, 2, 3, and 3, well, 1, 2, 3 and a quarter inches of cutting on 1, 2, 3 and a half inches of CPM 154. The grip area from behind the swell right here. 1, 2, 3, almost 4 inches, which is why it is so comfortable in my hand. Now, the way they did this divot, for instance, right here, this little swell, it really captures my middle finger perfectly. So this thing locks into my hand, even though it is a very thin handle. They've done a fantastic job. The knife overall is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just at 8 inches. So this is a full-size knife. Let's do some comparisons against some other things you may recognize. Here it is against the full-size Presidio 2 by Benchmade. As you can see, it is considerably larger, but this is a very big knife. And here it is up against the Bug Out. See, that's a lot closer, right? It is very similar in size to the Bug Out, with very similar handle size in particular, but you get a little more blade. And I love CPM 154 blade steel, so this is a really good trade-off. Now, since we've got the Bug Out, and we know that it is a notoriously light knife, let's go ahead and break out the scale and see how much the 13 weighs. All right. Now, for a reminder, the Bug Out is super light, right? Coming in at 1.8 ounces. The 13 is 2.5 ounces. So it's not even a full ounce heavier than the Bug Out, except it's an auto with a lot more cutting edge. This is a fantastic knife. I really hope that they do more stuff like this. And it's interesting looking, which totally matters. You know, for instance, the ProTech here is 1/10 of an ounce heavier. And of course, you know, stuff like the Launch 1 is considerably heavier, right? So this is a lightweight, very snappy, very pocketable auto from Kershaw for I think Smoky Mountain Knife Works has them at $118. You can get them for a little less than that in some places. You know, I mean, this is just a really spectacular knife. Everything they could have done to make me like this knife, they have done. The blade is beautiful. The handle is comfortable. It is interesting to look at. It is well sorted and well thought out. I very much wish, oh wow do I wish, that the rest of the Kershaw brand was made with this much attention to detail. I really do. Their autos are an entirely other animal. Now there are some Kershaws that are very good still, but for the most part, if you want a really good Kershaw, you're going to need to get an auto, and that's a bummer for a lot of people. For instance, in California, I can own this, but I'm not supposed to carry it, and so I have to recommend that you understand and know your laws in your state or your city so that you don't get into trouble, because that would be no fun at all. But this is a great knife. And I think that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. This is the Kershaw Launch 13. It is a new release from Kershaw. I am really behind this knife. I think it is very good. Yeah, I get it. It's not monstrously hard use. What it is an automatic pocket knife. It's not designed to take out into the field and survive out in the wild and woolly wilderness. It is designed to fit nicely in your pocket, cut things, and it does. This thing came very sharp. Cut things just as and where you want it to. and be available to you when you need it with the push of a button. All in all, this is a superb pocket knife from Kershaw. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this or any of my knives, feel free to ask down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and please subscribe. I would love to have you here on a regular basis. We'll see you next time.